He's back. The King of Chat, Jerry Kelly, returns to our screens on January the 29th with a brand new talk show. Over the 10-week series, Jerry will be chatting to some of Northern Ireland's best-known names one-to-one. So what secrets will be exposed as Jerry's guests share the ups and downs of their careers? Intimate, revealing and honest. Look out for Conversations with Jerry Kelly, Monday evenings 9 p.m. on NVTV, that's Freeview Channel 7 and Sky 181.
Welcome to Movie House Cinemas. Popcorn? Yes, please. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the movie. Reclining chairs? Don't mind if I do. Action, thriller, romance, we got it all. Discover the cinema today. Movie House Cinemas, home of the movies.
Good evening, and welcome along to Robin Elliott Tonight. Coming up on the show, we'll be taking a look back at some of the best of the guests over the past couple of years, and we'll have some great live music from our studios as well. But before all that, we're going to meet a man who's back out on tour with the full Monty play. It's doing the rounds of the UK theatres at the moment, and it's coming to Belfast between the 23rd and the 27th of January. You've seen him on The X Factor, you've seen him on Dancing on Ice, and now you're going to see him take to the stage in the full Monty. We're talking about Jake Quickenden, and he joins us now. Jake, how are you today?
Love that. Yeah, thank you. I'm great, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to come to Belfast, not gonna lie.
Now, you must have been in Belfast many times before.
Yeah, I've been on tour. Every tour I've done, we've been to Belfast, and I can honestly say it's one of the best places to go. The crowds are always really up for it. It's a lovely place. Everyone's really friendly. So yeah, looking forward to coming next week.
So is it good to be back on the road? Because I know you had some time off recently. You were away skiing, weren't you?
Yeah, I had some time off over Christmas, which has been nice because usually I'm doing a show over Christmas. I'm doing panto or something like that. So this year decided to take that time off, be with the family, have a Christmas at home. Me and the wife got to spend some time together. So we went skiing. I don't think we've had a proper conversation last year. So it was nice to get some just me and her time. And then, yeah, now crack on back with the tour until the end of April. So, yeah, looking forward to getting back busy and getting into a bit of a routine and just doing the show. Like, it's such a great show. It's so kind of funny. It's so relatable. People really seem to connect with it. So it's an enjoyable show to do. Do you know what I mean?
So what about when you first heard that you were doing the full Monty? Because it's such an iconic show. The film is about 25 years old now. So was it a bit nerve-wracking when you heard you were going to do this production?
100%. Like, for me, it's always nerve-wracking getting on stage, but it's something that I just love to do. So you can't let those nerves ever stop you from doing anything. So for me, it's actually my first play. I've been on tour 3 times with 3 different musicals, but this is my first play. So it was quite nerve-wracking thinking about just concentrating on acting. I didn't have to sing. And then I saw the names in the show. You've got Danny Hatchard, Bill Ward, Neil Hurst. You've got some really incredible actors. I was like, ooh, this is going to be tough. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, they all welcomed me with open arms. And I think as a cast, we all gel so well together. We've become like a family. And like you said, it's such an iconic show. Like, I think everybody just wanted to do it justice, wanted to make it the best show we can. And I think we've done that. All the reviews have been incredible. People have really enjoyed it. You get a different person for everything. Like, you get the hen-dos that are there just to see us take our kit off at the end. But then you get the people that remember the film and they're kind of intrigued by the story and how they can relate to it. And it's got so many issues that people are still going through today. Do you know what I mean? So that's why it kind of connects so well with people.
I'm glad you mentioned the issues in the show, because most of them are still relevant today. And back in 1997, when the movie came out, things were still a bit taboo back then. I'm thinking about things like mental health issues.
100%, and that's why it's so important to get it right, because it was very taboo. Nobody really spoke about it, especially guys. We didn't sit down and talk about it. So for these kind of 6 guys to come together, and then to start off with, it's a bit jokey, But then we really start hitting some really important points. You've got obviously Gaz fighting with the breakdown of his marriage and the custody of his children. Everyone's lost jobs. The cost of living is high, like it is now. You've got my character's a gay character, so you've got the homophobia that he kind of comes up against, and not being able to kind of Lompa's not being able to come out. So there's so many different issues that are still very relatable. But you've got body issues with Neil's character Dave, and kind of his body issues, and it's nice to see 6 guys talking about it, coming together, but also having a laugh about it, because I think that's how we deal best with things. Like when I've gone through hard times, talking about it's helped, but also being able to make light of the situation helps as well. And I think that's what the show does, the film did. So it's a great show for guys to come watch. Our audiences are mainly women for an unknown reason. I can't really tell. But I think it's an important show for guys to come watch, because they can relate with so many of the issues going on in there. And it makes a huge difference for them when they watch it.
And you've been very open about your struggles over the years as well, and I think that has helped a lot of other people open up about their struggles and difficulties as well.
You know, I think if you're given a platform, and I've done a few TV shows now, and I've got a fair few followers on Instagram, but to have that platform, you also have a bit of responsibility. And before, I used to just post everything that was great, but I realised that probably didn't help many people. So when I started talking about my own issues, and obviously issues with grief and mental health, anxiety, because not every day is a great day for anyone. Do you know what I mean? We all have our down days. So to be able to talk about that, if I help one person a month, do you know what I mean? It's I'm doing something right, and I'm using that kind of platform that I've got in the right way. So I'll continue to do that, continue to be honest and open with everyone, and hopefully it helps more and more people.
Now, what about being on tour for such a long time? Because you're going to be away from your wife, you're going to be away from your young son. That must be very difficult.
Yeah, honestly, if I could have one downside about the work I do, it's the downside is being away from home. But I understand how kind of lucky I am to be doing something I love, and I'll never take that for granted. So for me, you've got to take the rough with the smooth. And yeah, I'm away from home, but everything I'm doing is for them. I want to be able to give them a lovely life, and my children understand, and I get to see him, and he's the best kid in the world. And that's why it was so important spending this 5 weeks with him that I got off, and obviously my wife as well, but she's very understanding. But it is hard being away. But there's people away all the time. There's people fighting in wars. There's people working shifts. People are always away from the family. So you've just got to look at the positives and think, I'm doing something that I love. I'm earning a bit of money, and so hopefully one day I can take them on nice holidays and do nice things. So, yeah.
And I saw a lovely clip on your Instagram with yourself and Leo in the kitchen. So tell me this, are you any good in the kitchen then?
I am shocking. That was out of the box, that cake mix, trust me. But yeah, I just like doing little things like that with Leo, and obviously my stepson Freddie, and he's a bit older now. He didn't want to bake cakes with me. He just wants to play football or Fortnite. But yeah, I love doing little things like that, and it was just a cute little video. But I am shocking in the kitchen. My wife will definitely agree. I am not a cook.
So you're coming back to Belfast in the full Monty, and I know a lot of ladies will be looking forward to seeing you guys getting your kit off at the end of the show. But was there a lot of preparation for that? Did you have to head back to the gym and stuff?
Well, I had my first MMA fight last year, so I was training pretty hard for that. So it came at a good time, the full Monty, because I was in pretty good shape. It's been a heavy Christmas, I'm not going to lie. So I need to get back into the gym pretty soon. But again, it's it is about that, but it's not about that. It's about just normal guys. Yeah. And when you're walking down the street, and I love keeping fit. I love going to the gym, but for my head now than anything else. And when you look at the normal guy on the street, not everybody's got chiseled abs and massive biceps. So it's important to show that as well. My character's the only one that goes to the gym religiously, so I've got to kind of keep in a little bit of shape. Yeah. And like I say, I love doing the gym anyway. I love working out. So for me, that's important anyway in my routine and in my life. But yeah, last year it came at a perfect time because I was pretty ripped. But if you come in this year, then I'm sorry, you're not going to get the same kind of the same side of body.
And what was it made you want to do the MMA stuff?
Do you know what? With me, it's just I always like to do something that challenges me. And if I'm not kind of working towards a goal or something to work towards, then I don't function very well. So yeah, that was the one reason. My dad was a boxer and my two brothers boxed, and I just chose to play football. So when it came about, I was like, right, I can show them boys that I can fight a little bit as well. So yeah, I took it, and it was the best thing I've done. I loved it.
And will you get back in the ring and do any more?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to get this tour out of the way first, and then I'll get training again for another one.
And now that you've done some straight acting in the full Monty play, would you like to do some more? Would you like to do some film and TV maybe?
100%. That's definitely the ambition this year. Finish the tour, just keep working on myself, and kind of keep watching these amazing guys that I work with. And if a TV role comes up, I'll snatch it, and again, just work as hard as I can. But yeah, I'd love to do something a bit more serious, a bit more dark, and a bit more kind of, yeah, TV wise. I love doing theatre. I love being on stage, but I'd love to do, I don't know, a Netflix kind of series or something. You've just had Michelle Keegan doing that one on Netflix. It's gone down. That's something that I'd love to get into, but I know that I'm probably not there just yet. I need to keep working hard. But if it's like anything, if you put your mind to it, you can get there with a bit of hard work and a bit of kind of dedication and a bit of belief as well. Do you know what I mean? You've got to believe in yourself as well. So yeah, hopefully one day.
Now, if I had to push you to choose a favourite scene in the full Monty, what would it be?
The end of Act 1 is probably my favourite bit. I'm not going to give too much away, but it's the first time you see any flesh. I'll just say that.
Well, Jake, it's been lovely talking to you, and we look forward to seeing you in Belfast for the full Monty, which comes to the Grand Opera House between the 23rd and 27th of January.
Nice one, thanks. Nice chatting.
And straight after Belfast, you can catch the full Monty on tour in Birmingham, Southend, Manchester, Glasgow, Newcastle, Poole, Aberdeen, Leicester, Bath and Canterbury. Time now for some fabulous live music that we recorded on our Christmas special at the Titanic Hotel in Belfast. These guys are one of Belfast's finest rock bands. They've got a big gig coming up at the Pavilion Bar on the 2nd of February. We're talking about Black Dog Moon, and here they are with their current single. This is called Rainy Nights in Belfast.
Thursday night I'm looking out for you. Six o'clock and work friends shuffling. Just another night for me and you. November in the city, one more tune. I see you walking by the window. Heart beats faster, the song is over. Crowd applaud, I cheer inside for you. Danny's talking at the bar to Stu. Another answer, yeah, and one for you. Barman drops a glass, the place explodes. Rainy nights in Belfast, one more tune. glistening streetlights cart sail by. I catch your eye as you walk by. Hello. Hello. In Belfast, rainy nights in Belfast, rainy nights in Belfast, rainy nights in Belfast, rainy nights in Belfast. One more tune.
Black Dog Moon and Rainy Nights in Belfast. On the way shortly, we'll have some of the best bits from Rob and Elliott Tonight over the past couple of years. We'll have some live music from Shawn Jones in the studio. We'll be chatting to celebrity party planner Liz Taylor about some of the extravagant events that she's organised over the years. And best-selling #1 author Peter James will tell us all about his new crime novel, Stop Them Dead. But before that, we had Gok Wan on the show recently talking about the UK's least favourite fashion items. Let's get back to the research. We've discovered what people's least favourite fashion items are. Do you agree with these? Were you surprised by anything on the list?
No, I wasn't surprised, but it's so funny because I took the headlines and I have all of them apart from the Crocs. So I've got a pair of Speedos. I mean, that's probably not a mental picture that any of you want right now, but it's true. I do have them. I do have a velour tracksuit. I do have many bum bags. And I do have many full tracksuits. And so this is what I love about this, is that, you know, we kind of say that this is the least, these are our least favorite items, but actually it's all kind of stuff that we should celebrate, you know, and I kind of love that. The bit of research that I found the most shocking, Robin, is that 31% of us are afraid of making bold moves. Now, I did the maths on this. That's over 20 million people in this country that are, you know, use the word afraid when it comes to fashion. And it shouldn't be about that at all, because fashion is an extension of our personalities. You know, it's an extension of who we are. It's the first thing that we see. What I always say, that, you know, fashion is the bellboy of the hotel. Yeah. You know, when you walk towards a hotel and you see that team at the front, they're the first people that greet you. Your fashion is the first people that greets the world. And so it should be a way of you letting the world know who you are. And you can tell a million different things by what people wear or how their hair's cut. And it's really, really interesting. The psychology of fashion is fascinating. And if you get it right, it can be one of the most intelligent moves of your life, because it means that you haven't got to work really hard at introducing yourself to people. They can just they will just meet you and get to know you instantly by how you look, your aesthetic.
Now, what about Crocs? Because my wife loves hers. I think they're the ugliest piece of footwear ever made, but she says she doesn't care because as long as they're comfortable. So what's your thoughts on the Crocs then?
I'm with your wife on this. I kind of agree with that. I wouldn't wear Crocs. I mean, I've got a rounded foot anyway. I'm going to be very honest with you. I look like I've been kicking a wall. That's how round my foot is. And so I don't need anything to enhance the roundness of my toes. So for me, that's why I'm not going to wear them, but that's a personal choice. But when it comes down to comfort, Robin, you know, absolutely good for her. And if she's got the I was gonna say a naughty word there, but if she's got the confidence to turn around and say, well, I'm going to wear them because I'm comfy, then I am all for her. So Gok, when are you coming back to see us in Belfast then? Soon, hopefully. I'll need to get a gig at the Kremlin. I need to come over for some dirty goujons. Yeah, but I'm going to be pretty busy with this campaign until then, but I will be with you soon. Well, we look forward to it. Give my love to your wife and her Crocs. I will, of course. Thank you so much for joining us.
York's now best-selling crime author Peter James is back with a new Roy Grace novel called Stop Them Dead, and I'm pleased to say that Peter joins us now on the line. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you, really good.
So tell us about the new Roy Grace novel. This time around we're into the world of illegal dog trading, aren't we?
We are. If I can start with a caveat for all my listeners out there who are big dog lovers, I am a big dog lover too. I have not harmed any dog in the book. There's nothing I've harmed plenty of dog villains, but I would never hurt a dog in description in a book. Stop Them Dead. The whole story began when I was reading a piece in the local Brighton paper, the Argus, about 2.5 years ago, and it was a woman walking her Springer Spaniel breeding bitch who was mugged for a dog. You know, people are mugged for their watches, for their handbags, but for a dog. And then I read that the dog was worth £5,000, and I discovered that the price of dogs during lockdown, everybody suddenly wanted a lockdown dog, went up 10 times. And that dog it could have bought £300 to £500 before lockdown was now trading £3,000 to £5,000 plus. And I thought, as a dog lover myself, what a heartbreak that would be. Because if you're mugged for your watch or whatever, it's a horrible experience, but you claim insurance, you get the money, buy something else. A dog is part of your heart and soul. It's part of your family. And I just couldn't imagine the heartbreak that I would feel if that happened to me or it happened to my wife. And that was the starting point. And then I met the Chief Constable of Sussex. And she said to me, dog crime has gone insane around the UK. The organized crime gangs are now making more money out of dogs than drugs. And it still continues today after lockdown. And she gave me one shocking example, which was a particular shade of color. Blue French bulldogs were a big fashion accessory for a lot of A-list celebs. So if you want a particular shade of color, breeding bitch, Blue French bulldog, £100,000, and their puppies 25 grand.
Wow.
It's not surprising that people were starting to be mugged for their dogs when they got that much value on the end of the lead. And I then met the RSPCA. I'm one of their patrons, and they said to me that there was this absolute epidemic. It was in three forms. It was people being mugged for their dogs, illegal breeding of dogs, keeping them in horrible conditions, and the biggest worry of all was illegally importing dogs from Eastern Europe, in particular from Romania, which has got the highest incidence of rabies in Europe. And we've been rabies free in the UK since 1922. And wow. They're worried there's a real danger of the criminals inadvertently bringing this back in. And I thought there's the criteria for me for writing a new Roy Grace novel is it's got to be something that I'm deeply interested in and something that I'm passionate about enough to want to spend a year of my life working. And I thought, this is something I want to write.
So Liz, tell me this, what's the most extravagant party that you've ever organised?
When you say extravagant, do you mean the most they've spent or the visually extravagant?
Well, first of all, what's the most they've spent?
The biggest private budget was 1.75 million.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was his second marriage, and when we parted company at the weekend, and he thanked me profusely for the most amazing weekend. And it's all relative, because I think, people are very critical of what people spend on events, but it is relative. The guy had worked all his life, built up a phenomenal business, was self-made and hugely successful, so good luck to him. But as we left, and he said, it was just amazing, thank you so much. And I said, it's my pleasure, and I can't wait for your third.
How about the craziest thing that anybody has ever asked for?
Well, they're all crazy, because that's what we do. We're creative and we're crazy. One of my favourite was a family who I work for, who've got 4 daughters, and I've done 16th, 18th. I'm just in the middle of doing weddings. There's a wedding next year. Wanted a circus theme. And so I didn't want to do the yellow and blue balloons and the thing and everything. So the table, it was a seated party, and the table plan were rubber ducks. So you picked up your rubber duck with your name on, and you went into the marquee, and the pièce de résistance was this custom built, huge Victorian carousel. And the detail was insane. And so you went up to the bar and you stood, and slowly you went round. And of course you had bar staff all in the middle. And we did popcorn cartons with a popcorn cocktail with the popcorn on top. And one of the other drinks was a plastic bag with a zipper like you win at the fair, with a little plastic goldfish in, which had gin and tonic in it. And so this was how we displayed the drinks. But of course they were going round the carousel and the DJ was up in the middle, and it took an awful lot of time and design, and I had amazing set builders, and of course it had to be built into the marquee base. I loved that, and I loved the Narnia one. You know, I loved the opportunity of being creative. I did Down the Yellow Brick Road, and Diana Ross performed that night for the client. And the drinks reception was Wicked, from the show Wicked. We recreated it, and then the wall dropped, and we had this huge Yellow Brick Road, which we took them down into Oz. And so it all sounds, you know, pretentious and lavish, but with my hat on, it's, you know, it's what I do. I just like taking people into an environment and into a world that they would never ever have, you know, experienced, and I love it. So yeah.
Get up in the morning, put on your walking shoes. Sometimes without a warning, you get a Becky's of the blues. Let it roll, roll, roll. You gotta let it all roll away. Let it roll, roll, roll. The next thing you know, it's all gonna roll your way. Rhyme or reason, it happens to us all. You gotta pick yourself up every time you take a fall. Let it roll, roll, roll. You gotta let it all roll away. Let it roll, roll, roll. The next thing you know, it's all gonna roll your way. Well, tomorrow won't bring you the answer for today. Don't trip on what's behind you. I once heard a wise man say, it's like being all alone in a crowded room. Well, there's a whole different world going on inside of you. Let it roll, roll, roll. You gotta let it all roll away. Let it roll, roll, roll. The next thing you know, it's all gonna roll your way. Let it roll, roll, roll. You gotta let it all roll away. Let it roll, roll, roll. The next thing you know, it's all gonna roll your way. Gotta let it roll. It's all gonna roll your way. Let it roll, let it roll, let it roll away. Let it roll, let it roll, let it roll away.
Live music from Shawn Jones. Now, coming up very shortly, we'll be catching up with Eurovision legend Dana. Omid Djalili will be telling us about one of his big holiday disasters. UTV and U105 broadcaster Frank Mitchell will be telling us about the time when he met the Queen. And Will Mellor has been telling us about playing Corrie bad boy Harvey Gaskell. Have a look at this. Now, we saw you in Coronation Street recently playing the part of the bad guy Harvey, who was really scary. So that must have been a fun part to do.
Loved it. I loved it. I always said if Coronation Street come knocking, I'll do this. I'll do it if I'm available. I don't want to be in it for a long, long period because I love doing my dramas and my comedies and other stuff. I like to move around and do different things. But the character was perfect because I don't play many bad guys, and it was a real baddie. You know, it wasn't like a fake one.
Yeah.
It was an important lesson that you know, these drug dealers getting young kids to sell drugs for them and putting pressure on them and in communities, and you know, to be a part of something, a gang or whatever. And yeah, he's in prison at the moment, and I don't think that's the end of him. I think you might see him again. I know he broke out of prison and killed someone, but I think there might be more prison stuff to do. And I love playing the character, so as long as they need him to come back, I'll come back and play it, because he's great to play. You can have a lot of fun playing bad guys.
Now, have you had any really crazy holiday disasters?
Well, I don't know if I could say this. It was, again, very embarrassing. I was, I don't know if I should say this, but it's the first thing. We know each other now.
Yes.
I was swimming quite far out. I'd come about 100 meters away from the shore, and I was desperate for the toilet, and I didn't know what to do, and I had to just do it there. And I literally just pulled down my. It was a number 2, which came out as a perfect log. And as I swam back, the log followed me all the way back to the shore, and the whole of the beach was laughing. Because as the faster I went, the faster I think there was a current, and it followed me all the way back. And I remember shouting, "Who did that?" And it was a full beach, and they all knew me and they recognized me, because that was you dirty so-and-so. It's a pretty bad thing. I don't even know why I've shared that, but it's a true story.
I want to come back to the Queen now, because you've met her. You had her in the UTV studios.
That was one of the main highlights of the career. We came in one day, we were told a special guest would be arriving. I was then taken aside by the boss, and I was told that the special guest would be entertained by myself in the studio. And you could tell probably from the presence of the airport type security that the special guest was A-lister. And the Queen arrived, along with one of the ladies from Buckingham Palace, who then took me aside and said, "Mr. Mitchell, you will be liaising with Her Majesty the Queen. There are 2 rules. You do not touch Her Majesty, and you do not instruct Her Majesty." And I had no intention of either touching or instructing her, but we're in the studio. And William, who was directing, said to me, "Make sure she looks into the lens of the camera." So I'm standing looking into the lens, but the Queen comes up to me and she's asking me all about the weather maps, but she's standing with her back to the camera. And William says, in as conversational a way as he can, into my ear, because this has been taken by BBC, by Sky, by numerous news outlets around the world, "Get her to turn round. Can you get her to turn?" And I was thinking, I'm not allowed to touch her, I'm not allowed to instruct her. So I said, "Your Majesty, for me to get my best view, I always look right into that camera." And she turned around and William says, "Got her!" And that was the shot that was used literally all over the world.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, then 2 days later, we were in Hello magazine, and the president of Chile, who'd just been associated with the rescue of the miners at that time that were lost in Chile, and me, a 2-page spread in Hello magazine. And it was that day I thought to myself, yeah, that's a breakthrough, and that's a breakthrough in the career. And then sometime later, my phone started to ring and ring. This was a number of weeks later, ring and ring and ring when I was driving. Couldn't answer it, and all these missed calls. And I pulled in to get all these messages to say, "You're on. Have I got news for you?" Where they had shown a shot of the very same spot and used the gag about the Queen is now at weather school and she's auditioning for a new job with ITV. So, I got a good turn out of it.
Well, I'd have to do all kinds of everything.
Oh, of course, you'll never get away from that song, will you?
No, because all kinds of everything do remind me of you.
Oh, what lovely words from a lovely lady, Dana, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, mwah.
I need happiness, I need joy, I need the tenderness from some sweet boy. I need a love light to brighten up my life, someone who's gonna make all the wrong things right. I don't need heartaches and I don't need tears, I don't need loneliness in these precious years. I got a love light shining near, it won't hurry up, hurry love. I feel love coming on, yes I do. I feel love coming on, baby I do. I feel love coming on, so hurry up, oh hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. I feel love coming on, yes I do.
On the way shortly, we'll be chatting to Belfast's godfather of punk, Terri Hooley. We'll be meeting EastEnders legend Pam St Clement, also chatting to Jay Osmond. But before all that, some fabulous live music with one of her current tunes, Easy. Here is Brigid O'Neill.
I got on my new winter coat, makeup on my face. I got some flowers to bring to brighten up the place. I got on a smile that says it's all good, you know. I act so slick, it's like some scene from an Oscar-winning show. And it's easy, so easy to say you know it's all just fine, and all the while you're out of your mind. It's easy, so easy to say you know it's all just fine. See him in the local bars, always on his own. He says he's got more time to think when he drinks alone. It's always been a tricky path, keeping in with friends. They just don't seem to get him, and they all leave in the end. But it's easy, so easy to say you know that's just his type, when you know damn well that's just not right. It's easy, so easy to say you know, well that's just his type. See her on the bus most days, shopping bag in hand. I see the people ask how's you, I hear her saying grand. But it's been 6 long years gone by since he passed away, and she's still having conversations with him every day. Yet it's easy, so easy. Put on that brightest smile, shrug and say it's gonna take a while. It's easy, so easy to tell the world you're doing fine. After all, you're not the sharing kind.
Now, there must be so many highlights you've had throughout your whole career in show business. For me, the one I want to talk about is Elvis Presley. You guys were actually quite close to the king, weren't you?
Yes, in fact, the musical covers that too. We were performing in Las Vegas at the International Hotel. It's been changed to the Hilton since then, but this is where Elvis Presley performed, and so he had a what do you call it, a penthouse on top of the hotel, and we were performing with Nancy Sinatra back in '71, I think it was 70 or 71, and he came down to the lighting booth to watch our show. Okay, and so he wanted to meet us, and Nancy says, brothers, everyone called us brothers. Elvis called us brothers. He called us brothers, you know, and he wanted to meet us, and so we go up there and he's like 15 different pinball. He was a pinball nut. He loved pinball games, and then he got to know us, and we became like a brother to us. And so we would go down and watch his show, and we stayed there. We watched his show too when he was there. And one of the times when we came back to his dressing room, he opened up his closet and he says, "Now, brothers, I want to show you something." He said, "You got to change your look. You got to macho up your act." You know, and I'll never forget this. And so he shows us all these different jumpsuits, and anyone who has followed the family will know that all of a sudden we changed over to a jumpsuit look. You know, like the white. That was because Elvis said, "This is," and you don't say no to Elvis. This is, you can do this, you know. And so he says, "You got to macho up your act," you know. And then he says, "And you also need some karate in your act." So of course, you know, anyone who's followed us, we got into karate, and he sent over Chuck Norris. This is before Chuck became really big. This is before he came big, and Chuck became a big friend of ours, and so, you know, it's amazing how it all works. And so but Elvis was such an integral part of how we maneuvered in our career. Yeah, it was really really cool to have him that as a mentor.
Well, Pam, since I have you on the show today, I got to tell you as well, we've missed you so much on TV over the past 10 years. We really have. And being a massive soap fan, the massive EastEnders fan, I got to say, one of the most heartbreaking scenes on television that I've ever seen was Pat Butcher's death. Was that difficult to do?
Well, it was difficult because of the context. In other words, I was leaving. Yeah. And I think that made it doubly, although I was the one who I think kept my head straight most of the time and didn't get involved. I couldn't at any time we were filming all that. I couldn't come out of character and be me, because then I would have had it. But, you know, whilst ever I kept my eye on the ball, I was fine. Yes, it was a very strange thing to have to do.
And do you miss Pat?
I've put her away now. I've put her in the wardrobe like an old coat, and I'm not sure that I can even fit in her anymore. I mean, I'm not sure that I haven't sort of got over her now. It took a while. It was quite a period of mourning.
And when I look back at all the great scenes that you had over the years, I mean, it must have been totally amazing to work with people like the late great Barbara Windsor.
Yes, indeed, I do miss Babs like mad. Yes, I miss her. I miss everybody at EastEnders, actually. It's obviously, it was a large part of my life.
And of course, Mike Reid as well, because Pat and Frank were just the ultimate soap couple, weren't they?
Yes. Yes, I can remember our executive producer at the time said, it's the only true love story in EastEnders, Pat and Frank.
And then it tells stories like, you know, like, that I once kissed Cilla Black.
Did you?
Did you not hear that bit?
I've never did. When did you kiss Cilla Black? Because I was always very jealous of people who got to know Cilla and got to meet her, because I always wanted to meet her, never did.
Well, I met her in Belfast when she was playing the Whitla Hall.
Right.
And I had been a big Cilla Black fan from her first record, not anyone who had a heart, but the Love of the Loved. which I thought was the first punk record I'd ever heard, and then I heard it recently and it was like so tame. It was on, but I thought just spat out the words, and I love Cilla, although I do prefer Dionne Warwick's Anyone Who Had a Heart. So I did, and I got a chance to meet Cilla, and we kissed, and she said, "Isn't he tall?" Because I was tall for my age then. And but that isn't the story. The story is I was in the BBC one day and I was doing an interview.
Yeah.
And I was talking about punk records and stuff, and then the interviewer said, "Is it true you once Cilla Black?" And I went, "Yes, I did," and I'm not ashamed of it. And I said at that time, I was a big Cilla Black fan, and Elvis Presley had Cilla on his jukebox. So
yes, she was number 15 with "You're My World."
But people like the wee stories that I tell. Like I was when I was 15, I was going out with this girl who lived in a big house up the Belmont Road, and they were very rich, and we were not so rich. I mean, we had a party the day that we could afford lino for our bathroom. You know, it was a big deal in our house. We had tea and buns, you know. And she said to me one day that they've got an automan, and I was thinking, they've got a robot. And I said, does it do dishes and does it do a vacuum cleaning? He says, no, you keep linen it. I had never heard what a automan was. You can see that relationship didn't go any further than that.
In the days since I was on my own, drinking for us both, far away those many nights alone, couldn't bring you home. And I'd be anywhere but here if I thought it would make any of this clear. For one more evening down by the boulevard, and one more heartache by your side, by the porch light I was holding out for California, where you saved my life. My belief was forged in your desire, that I could be much more than a lost love, hardened by the fire of those years that went before. And I'd be anywhere but here if I thought it would make any of this clear. For one more evening down by the boulevard, and one more heartache by your side, by the porch light I was holding out for California, where you saved my life. By the porch light I was holding out for California, where you saved my life.
Some more fabulous live music on the best of Robin Elliott tonight. That was King Cedar. And talking about fabulous local music, we're going to finish the show with The Adventures and their classic 80s hit Broken Land. And it's always good when the guests surprise us on the show, like quiz champion Anne Heggarty did when she decided to recite some Shakespeare.
Well, ever since I was a child, I like reading books, and I like knowing things and getting answers to my questions. And whenever I asked a question and couldn't make sense of the answer, I was like, well, obviously the grown-ups are no use. I'm going to have to go off and learn this on my own. So I used to go off and learn a load of stuff on my own. And I just kind of furnished my brain doing that, just learning. I like to learn things like chunks of Shakespeare and lists of kings and queens and other, tedious things that no normal child is interested in.
So what's your favourite Shakespeare then?
Well, I know the to be or not to be speech, which goes, to be or not to be, that is the question whether it is noble in the mind to suffer the sins narrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles, and by opposing them to die, sleep no more, and by sleep to say we end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks of flesh's edges. The contemplation of battle to be wished, to die to sleep just to dream. Aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep to death what dreams don't come when we have shuffled off this mortal calm must give us pause. There's the respect for next calamity of sorrow and life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressed strong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of disprized love, the laws delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy change, when he himself might aspire to make with a bare bodkin, who would father's bear to corrupt sweat under a weary life, but that the threat of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sickly door with a pale cast of thought and enterprises of great pith and moment with disregard their current stern eye and lose the name of action. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia, nymph in the orisons be all my sins remembered. At the end of it, his girlfriend comes in and stops him.
That is impressive.
I enjoyed doing that.
This boy has learned to fail. In times like these, to cry seems so absurd. His own life's crisis, paradise.
changing. Show me the love to keep us together. Open up your hearts, don't turn me away. Comfort me through this stormy weather from where I stand. And I see a broken land. Where is the love to keep us together? Open up your hearts, don't turn me away. Comfort me through this stormy weather from where I stand. I see a broken land. Together, open up your hearts, don't turn me away. Comfort me through this stormy weather from where I stand. I see a broken land.
He's back. The King of Chat, Jerry Kelly, returns to our screens on January the 29th with a brand new talk show. Over the 10-week series, Jerry will be chatting to some of Northern Ireland's best-known names one-to-one. So what secrets will be exposed as Jerry's guests share the ups and downs of their careers? Intimate, revealing and honest. Look out for Conversations with Jerry Kelly, Monday evenings 9 p.m. on NVTV, that's Freeview Channel 7 and Sky 181.